Good evening. This is Dele Ayimibo from 3Team Pest Trade Academy, and you are welcome to another episode of Import-Export Platform. This program comes up every day, morning and evening, 7 a.m. on 8 a.m. on weekday and 6 p.m. on weekday, and then on weekend also we have it in the morning, 7 a.m. on Saturday, 2 p.m. on Sunday, and in the evening on both Saturday and Sunday around 8 p.m. we have it also. And basically what we are trying to do is to get information out there to be able to educate as many people as who are hungry and interested on information having to do with international trade in Nigeria. And we're starting with export because we need to do more on the export side than the import. We've mastered reasonably the import. The export, I think we're having some challenges in Nigeria. We started discussing export costing and pricing. Export costing and pricing. We've started from part 1 to 2 to 3, and today we probably will rounding off, I hope, and we are discussing part 11. Part 11. Export costing and pricing, part 11. And in this part 11, our focus will be on pricing strategy. We've discussed pricing objectives in the morning. What is the basis for your pricing? What's the philosophy behind your pricing? But this evening we'll be looking at strategy. So if you now have decided, you have the objective set out, what are the strategies you are going to use to be able to achieve that objective? And those are the things we'll be discussing this evening. Bella T. Jack, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. Raf Abiodun, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. Mickey Ogbaisi, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. Naimeka Anthony Okere, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. Like I said, we are discussing export pricing, costing and pricing. And we are zooming our lens today on pricing strategy for export market, or pricing strategy in export business. It's not just enough to price. What is the objective behind your pricing? That was discussed in the morning. And this thing will be discussing the pricing strategy. Price is one of the 4 major elements in marketing mix, even though there are theory now to tell us that marketing mix is beyond the 4. People have added some to it. Some will say it's now 5, some will say it's 6, some will say it's 7. But let's just work with the fundamental 4 that we're very much used to. And these are value creation, value capturing, value communication, and value delivery. Value creation is product, value capturing is pricing, value communication is promotion, and value delivery is place. So it's one of the major elements in marketing mix, and that's talking about the 4 P's of marketing. Odaishi Sivers, thank you for joining and good evening. And it is an important strategic issue because it is related to product positioning. The positioning of your product in the market is largely dependent on your pricing. The positioning of your product in the export market is largely dependent on your pricing. It also affects other internal marketing mix elements, such as product features, distribution and channel outlet mechanism used, the freight cost also, the promotional requirement for the product. Further, the level of pricing will be determined by external factors, such as the level of competitor in the market, the pricing of the competitor in the market, then the level of local import and export production, then the level of sophistication. How sophisticated in the market? Are they just okay with the regular product, or they need you to package it very well? They need some level of you can't just tie it the way you tie the stuff in Nigeria and people will buy, because of the degree of sophistication among the people you are reaching out. And all this affects you. So the pricing affects other internal marketing mix elements, such as the product features, such as the distribution channel, such as your freight cost. Of course, it affects also your promotional requirement. Why there is no single formula to establish and set basic pricing level? The following list is a sequence of steps that determine the market level at which pricing of a product should be set. the market, the level at the price of a product should be set. The first one here is developing marketing strategy for target countries. Developing marketing strategy for target countries. And this involves performing market analysis, segmentation analysis, product targeting, and positioning evaluation. Performing marketing analysis, segmentation analysis. You need to do some research on the market you are going into. Understand the segments in the market and the ones you want to target. If you need to know more about market segmentation, go on YouTube. You'll find a lot of other information on market segmentation. Then the product targeting and the positioning evaluation. Where do you want to be in the market? Akitola Amola, thank you very much for joining and good evening. Welcome. Then the estimating demand requirement. How many people are asking for this product? You know, you can use, there is this website, atlas.mit.edu. Is a website that have catalog of information on how much of a product is a country buying. What is the demand like? What quantity of this product is being purchased in that country? So that you'll be able to know if you even have a market and what volume it is and what part of that volume do you want to take up. The share of the market you want to take. Setting pricing objective, such as profit maximization or revenue maximization or pricing stabilization. We've talked about this in the morning, that you need to have objective guiding your pricing. What is the basis for that pricing? Determining pricing level. Using information collected in the above step to select an appropriate pricing method. Develop the pricing structure and identify any discount policies. Based on the information you've gathered in developing your marketing strategy for the target country, in estimating the demand requirement, in setting your pricing objective, then use this information that you collected to set up appropriate pricing method. How do you want to price? What do you want to achieve with that pricing? Remember I said in the morning you must have a vision. What exactly are you targeting? If you don't have an idea of what you want to achieve in that market, then you won't know how to set your price. You must have an idea of exactly what you want to achieve in that market. If you have an idea of what you want to achieve in that market, that helps you in setting that price appropriately. And I'll be talking about some of those things you want to achieve in the market very soon. The marketing means this decision. Defining the product. How do you want to distribute it? What is your promotional tactics? What is your promotional tactics in that market? Remember, if it's a high-income country, your cost of marketing will be very high. So you need to be very careful what kind of marketing you want to do in order to not to incur so much cost at the end of it that will not make it to be profitable. Calculating in-house cost, which include fixed and variable costs associated with the production, marketing, and distribution of the product in a particular market. Remember, we're looking at the strategy in pricing. That's the pricing strategy. The pricing strategy. And how do you arrive at this price? How do you arrive at this price? In order to set the specific price level that achieve your pricing objective, pricing objective, expert to utilize several pricing methods, which include, number one, cost plus pricing. That's setting the price at the production cost plus a certain profit margin. This is talking about the method of pricing now. Method of pricing. Cost plus pricing. Cost plus pricing. Then we have a target return pricing. Setting the price to achieve a required or specific target return on investment. First one is based on cost, and you're adding something to that cost to achieve your pricing. Another one is you have a particular minimum of return on investment. A minimum return on investment that will make sense to you. But remember, in setting this pricing, you need to check the market. Don't give a price that the market will not be able to accept. Caleb Afuakwe, thank you very much for joining. Good evening. Value-based pricing. This is basing the price on the effective value to the customer relative to other competitive products in the export market. Value-based pricing. This is basing the price on the effective value of the customer relative to other competitive products in the export market. You are looking at other competitive products, you are looking at the value of your product, and you are looking at it based on the value you place on your product. Vis-a-vis this one, like I told you, give an example of this, that when we enter into the market in the UK, we discover that our product, when you look at the packaging, is more valuable than the competitor. Even though the competitor dropped their prices, we dropped ours also, but our price did not go below theirs, because we are looking at using the value-based pricing. Base the price on factors such as level of product quality, popular price point for the price, basing the price on the effective value to the customer relative to other competing products in the market. Then psychological pricing. Psychological pricing. We are discussing export pricing, export costing and pricing. And then we are focusing our lens on pricing strategy. And by the way, this is export costing and pricing part 11. For those that are listening to us, this is part 11. So if you are very much interested, you can go and check my timeline. You'll see the previous videos of all we have discussed on export costing and pricing. Psychological pricing. This is basing the price on factors such as product quality, popular price point for the price in question, and what the customer perceives to be fair and just price for the product. Why? Because of what the customer perceives. You are looking at the perception of the customer. And this is also going to make you to compare your product to the other. Now, this also is going to be based on market research. You need to sound out the market. What are the people saying about the product? You know, you have a product in the market and people say, oh, wow, you mean this is the price? And they are saying, oh, the thought is this price. Why are they thinking that? In their mind, they are gauging it against other competing products and say, look, if this product have these features and then the price is at this level, then of course it must be very cheap. What they are basically telling you is that there is still room for you to be able to charge more. Psychological pricing. Loss leader pricing. I talked about this in the morning. Loss leader pricing. This operates on the basis of losing money on certain very low price advert products to secure customers' interest so that they will buy other products at a more profitable level. Again, loss leader pricing. This operates on a basis of losing money on certain very low price advertised products to secure the customer's interest so that they will buy other products at a more profitable level. In this case, you are not selling just one product, you have other products. And this is very common for, like we do beans flour and pap. Now, for beans flour and pap, it's possible that the manufacturer says, look, I want to use the pap to sell the beans. I want to use the beans to sell the pap, depending on which one is highly priced. And then they can say, look, I don't mind having a loss on the pap to drag attention so that as they are buying pap, I can market these beans to them. If they buy the beans, the pap will bring them in, but at the end of the day, I will be able to sell the beans to them, and I will make more on the beans to cover the loss I am actually incurring on the pap. So this strategy will work when you are actually dealing with more products. When you are dealing with more products, and you are using one to sell the other. You are using one to sell the other. We do this a lot also as a company, even as a consulting company. Sometimes we actually take almost a loss on a particular training because of other things we want to market at that training. Another benefit we are going to derive at that training. So as much as possible, you need to, like I said, we are discussing pricing strategy. And these are also based on your objectives. And then the philosophy behind those objectives. At the end of the day, you're not just pricing blindly. You're pricing based on your objective. And based on your objective, you have a pricing strategy. So any strategy you are deploying is based on the objective you have set. So your pricing have a philosophy, has an ideology behind it, have a reason and basis for it. Not just setting price arbitrarily. Many people set price like the first one, cost plus pricing. Cost plus pricing. So you just put a margin on top of it. There's nothing else you want to achieve. Look at the next one, flexible pricing policy. Offer the same product to different customers at different negotiated and contracted prices. The same product to different customers at different price. For example, cars are typically sold at negotiated prices, while many business-to-business sales are also done based on negotiated contract. So you can do flexible pricing depending on the market and who you are dealing with. Different customers, different pricing. This might not work for all products. But in some places, depending on, like for example, there are some products, if you see them in Nigeria now, if you see them in a supermarket on the mainland, the price you will see it is different from when they are selling on the island. It might be the same company selling the same product, but different prices to different markets. What is your pricing what are your pricing objectives, and how are you using this to define your pricing strategy? Now, as we round up this evening, I'll be talking about pricing tactics. Pricing tactics. To penetrate a product, to get a product to penetrate a particular export market, the pricing objective can often be either maximize profit margin, maximize quantity sales, to increase market share. To meet this objective, some demand-oriented tactics can be employed, depending upon circumstances, which can be summarized as follows. So when you are trying to enter into that market, you might need to drive demand. You might need to drive demand. We talked about this in the morning when we were discussing objective. Sometimes you want to achieve a particular quantity, because when you achieve that quantity, you'll be able to enjoy the economy of scale. You'll be able to enjoy the economy of scale. And that's exactly what you want to enjoy. Because you know, when you're able to produce this 1,000 number of items, then your price drops significantly. So you want to increase sales. And then you have to drop your price to achieve that objective. Look at some of these pricing tactics. Number one is skimming prices. Number two is penetration pricing. Number three is prestige pricing. Number four is bundle pricing. Then we have demand backward pricing. Let's take them one by one. Skimming pricing. Christopher Ebohidman. Sorry if I didn't pronounce it very well. Thank you very much for joining. Good evening. Lawa Kolabakari. Thank you very much for joining. Good evening. Dimeji Bakari, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and you're welcome. Skimming prices. Attempt to skim the cream. Attempt to skim the cream off the top of the market by setting a high price for the product and selling to only those customers that are less price sensitive. Initially, this customer can be charged at a high price. Then the price are lower to skim off the next layer of buyer. Eventually, the price will drop as the product matures and the competitor offer lower prices. Skimming is a strategy used to pursue the objective of profit margin maximization and is most viable. How does this work? You come in, you look at the highest level you want to charge. At that highest level, some people will buy. After a while, the price drop again. So, for example, maybe I'm selling the pap in the UK at where exporting it rather. It's been sold in the UK actually at about £4. So maybe initially entering the market, we're selling at about £5. Immediately we're able to exhaust that market, then it's dropped again to about 4.5, and then to about 4, and close to a level, close to a competitor. But you're able to skim off all the people on top who can afford this kind of product. Now, this product is good, not for regular consumable goods, fast-moving consumer good. It will be good for product that people buy once a while, like a car, like a phone, like things they have to use for a long time. If it's something you have to be buying every now and then, this strategy might not work. But this is a very fantastic strategy that can help you to be able to get all the opportunity available for you in a particular market. Now, number two is penetration pricing. Penetration pricing. This pursues the objective of quantity maximization by means of a low price. A low initial price is set in order to penetrate the market quickly. Why it can also discourage competitors from entering the market. You are entering a market, you want to take a position in the market. There are competitors there already. You have a product that is very much similar to what they are selling, and you want people to recognize you. Sometimes you drop your price. Now, when you are dropping price, you're not dropping price to achieve a loss. You have an objective. You look at your production. If I produce 100 pieces per day, this is the cost. If I produce 500 pieces per day, this is the cost. If I produce 1,000 pieces per day, this is the cost. So, in order to ensure that you achieve that 1,000, you drop the price. The idea is, in dropping the price, you're going to drive up the demand. In driving up the demand, you're going to be able to sell more quantity. And in selling that more quantity, you achieve the economy of scale. Then you can sustain it. But you drop that price to penetrate the market. At the beginning, it will be at a loss. Because you're not producing that volume yet. But you are targeting production of that volume. So you are focusing on quantity. The objective of this pricing is quantity maximization. The objective of skimming pricing is profit maximization. The objective of skimming pricing is profit maximization. The objective of penetrative pricing is quantity maximization. Now, I'm taking time to explain this so that even if your business locally, you can consider some of this strategy. Because sometimes when people are doing business, people just set price. There are no reason, the objective behind the price they are setting. They are not telling something they are trying to achieve. Because you are setting price, you are not looking at competition. What is competition saying? Okay, if your own is higher than competition, why should people buy yours if it's higher than competition? If it's lower than competition and your product quality is better, why should you make it lower? If at competition price you are profitable. What is your ideology? Value and purpose. What is the underlying philosophy of the business in the first place? Ideology rule the world. I made an example in the morning of all these social media platforms like Facebook. Those social media platforms that started without any profit for years, but they were looking at quantity maximization. They create a platform for you to go and showcase yourself and attract people there. So you create the content. They don't have content. You create the content. And with your content, you attract more people. They just ensure they provide the content, make the platform readily available. As long as the platform is available, you keep creating content. As long as you keep creating content, users keep increasing. As long as users keep increasing, they start doing advert. They start doing advert. And that's where they make money from. Advertisement, advertisement, advertisement. That's where they make money from. Advertisement. Now, can you see the philosophy behind that? It's called freemium. Freemium. You make a platform free. At the end of the day, you still charge a premium on it. But you are not charging people providing the content. You are charging people that are coming to see people that provide content. And you are charging them for seeing the advert. So anytime you go to Facebook, they are making money off you because you see a particular ad and someone is paying for that ad you saw. Try to understand the philosophy behind their what's the name? The business. The business must have a philosophy driving it. You must have a model that you are going to use to generate income. You must do something differently. You must set your price based on some objectives. You must check out the market and see what your competitors are doing. And you must come up with a strategy that helps you to be able to win in the marketplace. Remember, we are talking about international trade. There are other people in the market who also are thinking the way you are thinking. So number one, your quality of your product is good. Your packaging is fantastic. Then you now begin to think about how to penetrate that market. Even though your quality is good and packaging is great, you still have to think through on how to price your product. You can now see how vital, important, great, and interesting pricing can be. And the pricing is a different world on its own. It cannot be done just arbitrarily. it must be done intelligently. It must be done wisely. It must be done with an objective in mind to be able to have the win in the marketplace. A low initial price is set in order to penetrate the market quickly, while it can also discourage competitors from entering the market. It is an approach that can be used when many segments of the market are price sensitive. When they are price sensitive, you can then use it. Inchedo Adenino, thank you very much for joining. Good evening, you're welcome. It is most appropriate when demand is expected to be highly elastic. What we discussed before is most appropriate when the demand is relatively inelastic. That is when consumers are not highly price sensitive. That's when you are discussing skimming pricing. When the consumers are highly price sensitive, then penetrative pricing will be very great. When large decrease in cost are expected as a cumulative volume increase. When you have a large decrease in cost, when it's appropriate when large decrease in cost are expected as a cumulative volume increase. That's talking about the economy of scale. When I'm able to significantly reduce my cost because of the increase in the volume of... Sorry, and the person interrupted my network. So sorry about... Oh, sorry. I'm having an issue here. I'll be rounding up very soon. Prestige pricing. Prestige pricing is used when cheap products are not taken seriously by some customers unless they are priced at a particular level. In this case, the higher the price is linked to a perception of the better quality, although this may not always be the case. But if the market is such that when the price is high, they consider it to be high quality, please give them the right quality and of course give them a prestige pricing. A prestige pricing. Bundle pricing. This is the offering of two or more products together in a single package price. This can offer saving to both the customer and to the producer, who save the cost of marketing both products separately. The customer is willing to pay more because he perceives that he is getting a lot more for his money. Bundle pricing is something we do very well. Not just for export, even for local transaction. We do it very well. We have DVDs and books and material. We put it together and we sell it in a pack like Import Pro, like Export Pro, like Export Business Kit. And because we are putting it together, people, it's like a school in your hand, in import or in export. And people are happy buying it because of many information they are buying together at once at a very reasonable price. So you can do bundle pricing. Bundle pricing. When you put the product together in one pack and people are buying them together, some are at the end of the day, some at a lower price, some at a higher price, but all together at the end of the day, you are profitable. And the person who is buying is very happy because he's getting a larger, a higher, a better value for his money. Demand backward pricing is sometimes used by producers in certain circumstances. First, the price customers are willing to pay for a product is determined through research analysis. Then the exporter work backward through the standard markup margin taken by the distribution network to come up with a calculated price that customer can be charged. I take it again. First, the price consumers are willing to pay for a product is determined through a research and analysis. Having done that, then the exporter work backward through standard markup margin taken by the distribution network to come up with a calculated price that the customer can be charged. A research is done, you have an idea of the price, but based on your distribution network and the response from the market, you can then begin to walk backward until you arrive at a pricing that the customer is willing to pay. But you are starting from a level based on the research you have done. But now with this information on ground, you are able to now adjust your pricing to be able to ensure that this now is demand backward pricing. Based on the demand, you are able to arrive at a reasonable price. Basically what we are saying is that if you are going into international market, you need to have a strategy for pricing. And that strategy should be such that you're not just going after, after profit, you are going after sustainability. So even though you might have a little loss at the beginning, but it gives you a position in the market that makes you to be long-lasting in the marketplace. All right, thank you very much for listening to us again today. We have come to the end of export costing and pricing. We have 11 episodes in this series. Tomorrow we'll be starting a new and fresh episode altogether that probably take us for another 1 or 2 weeks. My name remains Dela Yemibo, and this is Import Export Platform Facebook Live, brought to you by 3D Trade Academy. See you tomorrow and have a good evening.